And now here's our next question in the LGBTQ Travel Influencer series. So let's talk about kind of what sets you apart, what's unique, what's different between you and others in your industry.
I would say I'm more of a raven where I connect influencers and I connect partners. I'm more of a connector. So, you know, a great example is when Barb and I go out into market, like either going up to Cornucopia or even during Whistler Pride or going off to Jasper Pride, whatever it is. The two of us, we bounce off each other's energy, and she has the followers, and then I have other followers too, and it just gets amplified.
Yeah.
And I think that's the magic, because it's finding those connections and creating that community. And I think that's what I do really well.
Yeah, well, you did it with us. As you remember, we that was really fun, by the way. You had me come in and we did a kind of a workshop seminar with a lot of folks that were there for your event. And we had a good turnout from that, from the destination and so forth. But the fun part is the people you brought together. We had the couple of men and nomadic boys, and then Kit and John. And so you had these groups of influencers, and of course, Barb. And we were all there together. So we were able to kind of turn that around into something that was not only educational for folks, but then we spent the rest of our time running around the mountain and getting great footage.
Absolutely, and creating those unique experiences, and each influencer had their different perspective or their own editorial that they wanted to share with their audience that would resonate well with their audience. So all of a sudden it became like this really hot, steamy soap opera on the slopes. That was very fun.
Well, especially when they stopped and posed on the top of the mountain and all took their shirts off.
Exactly, and you know, Barb, it was just like, oh my gosh.
As far as shooting things differently, I blame that entirely on National Geographic, because my mom had a subscription and I was just looking at those pictures growing up and I got that style. I'm not, there are some influencers out there that are fantastic at what they do. It's them in a destination or wherever, and they do it beautifully.
Yeah.
Someone already has that job. So me copying them, it's just going to be a copy. So with my photos and with what I post, it's the destination, because I'm assuming that's kind of what people actually you go to. Out of nowhere Wales, or in the deserts of the United Arab Emirates. What do you see? Where do you go? What do you do? Yeah. So I purposely make myself a secondary presence in the photos. Yeah. It's all me in the comments and the commentary, but I kind of space myself out. Be this. In the photos that I post.
That does set us apart. You know, people look to us because our kids are older. We've been going through this for a while. Many, you know, having gay parents or same-sex couples having children is not unusual anymore. But when we started, it kind of was. And so our kids are now 16 and 18, and we've been through a lot. So people start to look towards us to say, well, what happened here? What have you done in this situation? And we have like a history to share. So that's been kind of interesting. Yeah. Our daughter Sophia kind of put us in the spotlight years ago. She wrote a letter to President Obama, and it was shared globally. And then he wrote back to her, and it was very poignant about same-sex marriage. And it made its way into arguments in the Supreme Court, and then finally it was, of course, legalized.
But no, another thing I'd like to explore with you that kind of sets you apart is also you go to destinations that are not top of the list for a lot of other journalists and influencers.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's something that I've always liked doing, even before I got into journalism. I always liked to explore other cities that weren't necessarily your top tier LGBT destinations. You know, every city has gay culture of some sort. It's just how big is it or how small is it? Yeah. I actually love to explore cities going with no expectations at all. And sometimes I'm surprised. Oklahoma City, for example, I had zero expectations. I found out there's 8 gay bars. There's a gay resort. They're all in the same neighborhood. There's a gay neighborhood in Oklahoma City that is, it's awesome. And there are lesbian bars, there's gay bars, it's a whole conglomerate of LGBT culture that you would never think would be in Oklahoma. Yeah. Same thing for like Kansas City, and there's so many destinations that people overlook. And really what I wanted to do with Pride Journeys is show people about these destinations and let them explore them. How many times can you go to Miami? I love Miami, but how many times can you go there? Yeah. Sometimes you want to go somewhere different, but what destination is there? My job is to tell people, yes, it is safe to go to Oklahoma City, to Wichita, to Kansas City, to Grand Rapids. There's still some concern out there, especially in the world we live in, about safety. Yeah. So I'm doing the legwork for potential travelers pretty much.
That was great. So now go to the description and click on the link for the next question in our travel influencer video series.